Sir, I need to see your identification right now.
I'm sorry, what's this about? I'm just entering my workplace.
I didn't ask what you're doing. I need your ID now.
Of course, officer. Is there a problem? This is where I work.
We received a call about suspicious activity. You match the description here.
I'm County Commissioner Marcus Whitmore. This is the County Administration Building.
I'll determine.
Sir, I need to see your identification right now. The marble steps of the County Administration Building felt cool beneath Marcus Whitmore's dress shoes. It was 8:47 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. Autumn wind scattered leaves across the concrete plaza. Behind him, the sound of morning traffic hummed. His coffee was still warm in his hand. "I'm sorry, what's this about? I'm just entering my workplace." The officer's hand rested on his duty belt. His voice carried that mixture of authority and nervousness that comes with inexperience. "I didn't ask what you're doing. I need your ID now." Whitmore shifted his briefcase, the one with the county seal embossed in gold on the leather. His commissioner lapel pin caught the morning light. Other county employees slowed as they walked past. Some recognized Whitmore. Their faces showed confusion. What happened in the next 8 minutes would cost the county $24 million, end a career before it really began, and expose a training failure that had been years in the making. To understand why this moment would become one of the most expensive mistakes in the county's history, you need to know exactly who was standing on those steps. Marcus Whitmore, 52 years old, County Commissioner for District 3, third term, 11 years of service. He'd built his career methodically. Bachelor's in Political Science from Howard University, magna cum laude, 1994. Master's in Public Administration from Georgetown, 2000. Certifications in Municipal Finance and Governance. He started as a city council aide at 25. Spent 5 years as a policy analyst for the state legislature, elected to the county commission at 41. In those 11 years, he'd secured $47 million in federal infrastructure grants, reformed the county's procurement process, saving $12 million annually, championed an affordable housing initiative that built 1,200 units. The State Municipal League named him Public Servant of the Year in 2019. But here's what mattered most that morning. Marcus Whitmore chaired the Finance and Budget Committee. He oversaw a $340 million county operating budget. He chaired the committee that approved all law enforcement spending, salaries, equipment purchases, facility maintenance. He represented 127,000 constituents. The county executive director had said, "Marcus doesn't just understand budgets, he understands people. He asks the hard questions about every dollar we spend, especially in law enforcement. He wants to see outcomes, not just expenditures." Whitmore had been raised in the district he represented, married 24 years, 3 children, youth basketball coach, deacon at Community Baptist Church. He arrived early, stayed late, returned every constituent call personally. On November 14th, he was arriving for the quarterly budget review meeting. Law enforcement would present their funding requests. He'd approved hundreds of officer hires in his 11 years. On November 14th, he was about to meet one of those hires. Officer Ryan Hastings, 24 years old, badge 1847. He'd been with the Sheriff's Department for exactly 147 days. Hastings grew up in a rural county 200 miles away, no family in law enforcement. He'd applied to 6 departments before being hired, moved to the area only 5 months before starting the academy. The academy had been challenging. He graduated 23rd out of 31 cadets. His instructors marked him needs improvement in community interaction and de-escalation techniques. He struggled with scenario-based training involving diverse communities. His academy file contained a note. Shows enthusiasm, but tends to rely on command presence over communication. Needs additional work on recognizing context and authority figures in non-uniform situations. Still, he graduated, got hired, got assigned to the downtown government district. High foot traffic, plainclothes officials everywhere. The assignment required officers to recognize local government personnel. Hastings had received no orientation about the county building, no briefing on county commissioners, no photographs, no identification training for local political figures. His professional record showed 12 arrests in 147 days, all misdemeanors, 3 use-of-force reports ruled justified by his training officer. 0 complaints filed against him, but only because he was brand new. His field training officer, Sergeant Morrison, had retired the week before, 28 years of experience gone. Hastings lost his primary mentor right as he went solo. Ryan Hastings considered himself eager to prove himself. He wanted to show he could handle situations independently. He was about to discover what that independence would cost. Tuesday, November 14th, 8:43 a.m., 52 degrees, overcast, light wind. Marcus Whitmore always arrived between 8:30 and 8:45 a.m., had for years. He parked in the public lot 2 blocks away, refused to use reserved commissioner parking, said it set a bad example. He walked the same route past local businesses, often stopped for coffee at the corner cafe. That morning, his briefcase was full of budget reports, questions he'd prepared for law enforcement representatives. The meeting started at 9:00 a.m. He wore a navy blue suit, white shirt, burgundy tie, black dress shoes, his county commissioner lapel pin, the briefcase with the county seal embossed on it. He was heading toward the front entrance. He liked greeting constituents there. At 8:39 a.m., dispatch received an anonymous 911 call. Suspicious male in a suit walking around government buildings, looking at windows and doors, possibly casing for robbery. The caller described black male, 50s, dark suit, briefcase, walking slowly around the building. The caller hung up before giving a name. Dispatch classified it as a routine suspicious person call. Closest unit assigned, Officer Hastings, 2 blocks away finishing a traffic stop. Dispatch told him, suspicious male, black, 50s, suit, briefcase near county admin building. No mention that the building was full of officials in suits. 4 minutes from call to confrontation. Hastings made his first assumption when he got the call. Someone in a suit near a government building must be out of place. His second assumption would cost him everything. Marcus Whitmore reached the 5th marble step when he heard it. Sir, stop right there." He turned. Officer Hastings was approaching quickly. His hand rested near his weapon. His body language was tense, commanding. Whitmore's first thought, here we go again. This wasn't his first time being stopped, even as a commissioner. "I need to see your identification right now." Whitmore kept his voice calm. "Good morning, officer. I'm entering my workplace. Is there a problem?" "I didn't ask what you're doing. I asked for your ID. Do you have identification?" "I do. May I ask what this is about? What's the reason for the stop?" Hastings' voice grew firmer. "We received a call about suspicious activity. You match the description. ID, now." Other employees slowed, watched. Some recognized Whitmore. Their faces showed confusion. Whitmore set down his briefcase carefully. "I'm going to get my identification from my inside jacket pocket. Is that okay?" Whitmore pulled out his county-issued identification card. Official government ID, his photo, his name, title, County Commissioner, District 3, the county seal, security clearance level. He held it out clearly. "I'm County Commissioner Marcus Whitmore. This is the county administration building. I work here. This is my workplace." He gestured to the briefcase, the county seal embossed clearly on the leather. He pointed to his lapel. "This is my commissioner identification pin. I've worked here for 11 years. Hastings barely glanced at the ID. IDs can be faked. Anyone can buy a briefcase. What are you really doing here?" Whitmore's disappointment was visible, still calm, still controlled. "Officer, you can call inside to the security desk. You can call your supervisor. You can verify this in 30 seconds. I'll determine what needs to be verified. Why were you walking around the building? What were you looking at?" "I was walking from the parking lot to my office. The same route I've taken for over a decade. Officer, I'm asking you again, what is your reasonable suspicion here? Whitmore's tone shifted, still calm, but sharper now. The tone of someone who'd studied law, who knew exactly what was happening. Officer, I'm going to explain something to you. I have every legal right to be here. This is a public building. More than that, I'm an elected official who works in this building. I've provided identification. You have no legal basis to detain me. Hastings' voice rose. I have a right to investigate suspicious activity. You need to cooperate with my investigation. Investigate what? Walking to work. Being in a suit near a government building. What crime do you suspect me of committing? Just cooperate and this will go faster, if you have nothing to hide. Whitmore cut him off. That's not how the Fourth Amendment works, officer. You need reasonable, articulable suspicion of criminal activity. What do you have? The call said suspicious male near the building. Suspicious based on what? What behavior? What action? Hastings grew defensive. Look, you can either cooperate with my investigation or we can do this another way. Whitmore's jaw tightened. Are you threatening to arrest me, a county commissioner, on the steps of the county building, for walking to work? Whitmore pulled out his phone. I'm going to make this very simple for you. What's your name and badge number? I don't have to. Yes, you do. South Carolina Law Section 231250. Officers must identify themselves upon request. Badge number, now. Hastings stammered. Hastings, badge 1847. Officer Hastings, I'm County Commissioner Marcus Whitmore. I chair the Finance and Budget Committee. I oversee the law enforcement budget. I literally approve your salary. And right now, you are violating my Fourth Amendment rights on body camera because you received a call about a black man in a suit near a government building full of black officials in suits. Do you understand what you've done? 7 seconds of silence. The body camera captured Hastings' face going pale. I was just responding to a call. What was the articulable suspicion? What crime was I suspected of? What did the caller actually report? Suspicious activity. Be specific. What activity? Walking, carrying a briefcase, being black. Hastings tried to recover. Sir, I'm sorry if there was a misunderstanding. There's no misunderstanding. There's a constitutional violation. There's racial profiling. And there's all of it on camera. I want your supervisor here, now. What followed was 6 minutes of methodical questioning that would be studied in police academies across the country. Marcus Whitmore's voice remained calm, professional, but each question landed like a hammer blow. Before you call your supervisor, answer these questions. First, what reasonable, articulable suspicion did you have that I was engaged in criminal activity? The call said, what did you observe? Reasonable suspicion requires your observations, not an anonymous caller's assumptions. Hastings looked down. Second question, what criminal activity did you personally witness me commit or about to commit? I didn't witness, I was investigating. Investigating what? Walking while black, looking professional near a government building. Silence. Third question, did you verify anything before approaching me? Did you run my description past the security desk inside? Did you check if commissioners were arriving for meetings? Did you ask dispatch for more details about the call? Hastings shifted his weight. No answer. Did you see the county seal on my briefcase? Did you look at my lapel pin? Did you notice I was walking confidently toward the entrance like someone who works here, not casing the building? 2 patrol cars pulled up. Backup officers, they stepped out. They immediately recognized Commissioner Whitmore. Horrified glances between them. Sergeant Torres approached. Commissioner Whitmore, I'm so sorry there's been a... Whitmore cut him off. Sergeant, your officer detained me without reasonable suspicion, questioned my right to enter my workplace, dismissed my government credentials, threatened arrest. This entire interaction is on body camera. I want your watch commander here now. Whitmore pointed to his phone. I'm also recording this. Time stamp, GPS location, everything. This is evidence. Hastings finally grasped the magnitude. "Sir, I apologize. I was just doing my job." "Your job is to uphold constitutional rights, not violate them. Your job is to use reasonable judgment, not racial profiling. Your job is to verify information before detaining citizens. You did none of that." Whitmore's voice remained controlled, but his words were precise. "Officer Hastings, you violated my Fourth Amendment rights against unreasonable search and seizure. You conducted a Terry stop without reasonable suspicion. You profiled me based on race. You ignored clear credentials. You made assumptions based on how I looked, not what I did. And you did all of it on camera, in front of witnesses, on the steps of the building where I work. I will be filing a formal complaint with Internal Affairs, the County Executive, and the Police Review Board. And I will be pursuing this through every available legal channel." Officer Hastings returned to his patrol car at 8:59 a.m. Commissioner Whitmore entered the building at 9:01 a.m. He proceeded directly to his budget meeting. The brutal irony would become clear within hours. Marcus Whitmore chaired the Finance and Budget Committee. He literally reviewed and approved every law enforcement expenditure, the hiring authorization that brought Hastings onto the force, the salary increases Hastings received during probation, the budget allocation for training. 3 months earlier, Whitmore had questioned the department's training budget in public meetings, asked specifically if officers received adequate cultural competency and de-escalation training. The department assured him they did. Hastings returned to the station at 9:14 a.m., approached Watch Commander Lieutenant Barnes, tried to frame it as a misunderstanding with a citizen who turned out to be a commissioner. Lieutenant Barnes reviewed the body camera footage on the spot. He closed his office door, called Police Chief Daniels directly. "Chief, we have a problem, a big problem. Hastings just violated Commissioner Whitmore's rights on camera." At 10:47 a.m., Hastings was placed on administrative leave, badge and weapon. Surrendered, Internal Affairs notified. Whitmore attended his 9:00 a.m. budget meeting, arrived 2 minutes late, explained what happened. The other commissioners gave him a standing ovation. At 2:30 p.m., he filed a formal complaint with Internal Affairs, provided his personal phone recording as additional evidence, submitted a 14-page written statement detailing every constitutional violation. The department released a statement at 4:47 p.m. "The Sheriff's Department is aware of an incident involving one of our officers and County Commissioner Marcus Whitmore. The matter is under investigation. The officer has been placed on administrative leave pending the outcome." Local news had the story by the 6:00 p.m. newscast, regional outlets by 10:00 p.m. 3 news organizations filed body camera footage requests within 24 hours. The department resisted, cited ongoing investigation. The county attorney pushed for immediate release, in the interest of transparency. The footage was released 72 hours after the incident. A 47-second clip went viral, Whitmore calmly explaining, "I'm a county commissioner, this is my workplace." Hastings responding, "IDs can be faked." 3.4 million views in the first week. The Internal Affairs investigation was assigned to Commander Patricia Reynolds, 22 years with the department, known for thorough, by-the-book investigations. She was given full access, unlimited resources. Her report took 6 weeks, 89 pages. What it uncovered went far beyond one rookie's mistake. Reynolds and her team reviewed 12 minutes of body camera footage from Hastings, 8 minutes from backup officers, Whitmore's 9-minute personal phone recording. They pulled the dispatch call recording, CAD logs, the anonymous 911 call traced to a burner phone, caller never identified. They reviewed Hastings' field training reports from his 90-day probation, academy training records, evaluations, department orientation materials for the downtown government district, training curriculum on constitutional rights, policy manual sections on detention and identification verification. They conducted 23 interviews. Hastings was interviewed 3 times, Sergeant Torres and the backup officers, Lieutenant Barnes. Hastings' retired field training officer, Sergeant Morrison, called back for testimony, 4 academy instructors, the dispatch supervisor, 8 county employees who witnessed the incident. Commissioner Whitmore sat for 2 extensive interviews. He provided years of documentation about questioning police training budgets. He revealed this wasn't his first time being stopped by officers who didn't recognize him. 2 previous incidents in 8 years, both resolved without escalation, never formally reported. Hastings defended himself. He was following training by responding to the call. He didn't recognize the county ID because he'd never been briefed on what they looked like. He was being thorough, not racially profiling. He admitted he should have verified with dispatch or security, but was trying to handle it independently. He said he panicked when Whitmore became confrontational. The body camera contradicted this. Whitmore remained calm throughout. But then investigators found something else. Training failures. No orientation for officers assigned to the government district. No information about who worked in the buildings. No photographs. No name lists. No identification guides for commissioners, judges, or officials. Academy training on suspicious person calls emphasized quick response. Minimal guidance on evaluating whether behavior was actually suspicious versus simply unfamiliar to the caller. Constitutional rights training, 8 hours total in a 26-week academy. Investigators found this grossly inadequate. De-escalation training was scenario-based, but scenarios didn't include authority figures, professionals, or people who challenged officers' assumptions. Cultural competency training, 4 hours, described as PowerPoint presentation about bias with no practical application. Academy records revealed Hastings wasn't alone. His class of 31 had 7 others with needs improvement ratings in community interaction. All 7 graduated, all were hired, no remedial training required. Sergeant Morrison's final evaluation of Hastings included a note: still tends to assume authority rather than establish it through communication. Needs more time with diverse communities. Despite this, Morrison marked him satisfactory for independent patrol. Department policy only required 90 days of field training regardless of progress. The investigation expanded. All suspicious person stops in the government district over the previous 2 years, 47 stops total. 38 involved black individuals. The district is 32% black. 41 resulted in no action after the person identity. Themselves. 0 reports filed about the disparity. Investigators interviewed 11 individuals from those 47 stops. 3 were county employees, 2 attorneys, 1 senior planner. 2 were state legislators visiting county offices. 1 was a federal judge. State Representative Linda Carter stopped twice in 18 months entering the county courthouse. 1 officer demanded she prove she was a legislator, never filed a complaint because it felt pointless and I had work to do. Federal Judge Anthony Mitchell stopped in a parking garage while wearing his federal ID around his neck. Officer told him anyone can buy a fake ID online. He filed a complaint, ruled unfounded. The ruling was made by a lieutenant who never reviewed body camera footage. The investigation's findings were unequivocal. Fourth Amendment violation, unreasonable seizure without reasonable suspicion. Multiple department policy violations, failure to verify information before detention, failure to use de-escalation techniques, failure to recognize appropriate credentials, failure to call for a supervisor. The county attorney's analysis. The stop was pretextual. The officer lacked any specific, articulable facts suggesting criminal activity. Walking confidently toward a government building in professional attire during business hours is not suspicious, it's expected. Dr. Samuel Richards, police practices expert and former training commander, testified. Hastings was set up to fail. You don't assign a rookie with documented communication struggles to a downtown government district without extensive briefings, identification guides, and clear protocols. This wasn't a failure of one officer. This was institutional negligence. The report's conclusion about racial profiling. While Officer Hastings denied racial animus, the totality of circumstances, including statistical disparities, failure to recognize professional context, and dismissal of credentials, indicates implicit bias at minimum and racial profiling as the most likely explanation. Commander Reynolds' conclusion. While Officer Hastings' actions were individually problematic, they reflect systemic training deficiencies, policy gaps, and supervisory failures that have allowed constitutional violations to occur with insufficient accountability. This is not an isolated incident. It is a predictable outcome of inadequate preparation and oversight. Commander Reynolds submitted her 89-page report on December 29. Her recommendation: termination of Officer Hastings, formal review of all Academy graduates from his class, comprehensive reform of training protocols, independent audit of all suspicious person stops. The consequences extended far beyond one career. The Police Benevolent Association initially announced they would vigorously defend Hastings. After reviewing the body camera footage and investigation report, the union president issued a new statement. While we support due process for all officers, the evidence in this case is clear and troubling. We cannot defend actions that violate constitutional rights and department policy. Police Chief Daniels issued a termination notice on January 11th, effective immediately. Grounds: gross negligence, policy violations, constitutional violations, and conduct unbecoming an officer. Hastings appealed through the civil service system. Hearing held February 3rd. The appeal was denied unanimously by the three-member board. Board member quote, "This officer created a constitutional crisis and embarrassed the department through actions that reflected fundamental failures in judgment, training, retention, and professional conduct." The county prosecutor reviewed the case for potential criminal civil rights violations, declined to prosecute, citing lack of evidence of criminal intent, but stated, "Civil remedies are appropriate and we support Commissioner Whitmore's pursuit of accountability." The State Law Enforcement Division conducted a review, revoked Hastings' law enforcement certification on March 8th. He's ineligible to work as a police officer anywhere in South Carolina. Note in his file: revocation based on constitutional violation and pattern of judgment failures. Commissioner Whitmore filed a federal civil rights lawsuit under 42 U.S.C. Section 1983 against Hastings in his individual capacity, against the Sheriff's Department, against the county for inadequate training. Filed February 15th. After 14 months of litigation, the case settled August 4th, $24 million. $4 million from the officer's liability insurance, $20 million from the county's insurance and self-insurance fund. No admission of liability, but the settlement agreement included 47 pages of required reforms. Settlement breakdown: $8 million in compensatory damages to Whitmore, $16 million in punitive damages. Whitmore announced he would donate $6 million to civil rights organizations, $2 million to establish an oversight foundation. Hastings' personal toll, divorced 4 months after termination, filed bankruptcy, legal fees exceeded $140,000, moved out of state, now works in private security in Georgia, no law enforcement powers. He's an overnight security guard at a warehouse facility, prohibited from carrying a firearm, declined all interview requests, social media accounts deleted. He has never publicly apologized. But the financial costs extended beyond Hastings. $24 million in settlement, $1.8 million in legal defense costs, $340,000 in investigation costs. Insurance premiums increased 43%, $890,000 additional annually for 5 years. Compliance costs for reforms, $4.2 million first-year implementation. Total financial damage, $31.23 million over 5 years. Training Commander Sylvia Patterson was reassigned to administrative role with no supervisory authority, effectively demoted, retired 8 months later. Lieutenant Barnes, the watch commander, received a formal reprimand, passed over for promotion to captain. Police Chief Marcus Daniels wasn't fired, but he was publicly criticized by the county commission in a 4-2 vote. Whitmore abstained. Daniels announced retirement 14 months after the incident, to pursue other opportunities. Everyone understood it was a forced resignation. The department implemented comprehensive reforms. Constitutional rights training increased from 8 hours to 40 hours. De-escalation training from 12 hours to 52 hours, including scenarios with authority figures. Cultural competency from 4 hours to 24 hours, with annual 8-hour refreshers. New requirement, context and environment training. 16 hours teaching officers to recognize professional contexts, evaluate environmental cues, verify assumptions. Officers assigned to government, medical, educational, or business districts receive 8-hour orientation covering who works there, what credentials look like, protocols for unusual situations. Academy graduation standards increased. Needs improvement in any critical area requires remediation before graduation. Field training extended from 90 days minimum to no less than 90 days, continuing until competency demonstrated. Average now 127 days. All excessive force, constitutional violation, and discrimination complaints now investigated by an independent police review authority, civilian-led board with subpoena power. Early intervention system tracks 27 performance indicators. Automated algorithm flags officers showing concerning patterns. All traffic and pedestrian stops require documentation of race, ethnicity, age, reason, outcome. Data analyzed quarterly for racial disparities. Body cameras must be activated for all public interactions. Supervisors review random 5% of footage monthly. Officers can photograph credentials and receive instant verification from communications. Specific policy named after the case. Commissioner Whitmore Protocol requires officers who detain government officials, attorneys, doctors, or licensed professionals to immediately verify credentials through supervisor or dispatch. Department-wide review of those 47 suspicious person stops. 8 found constitutionally problematic. 3 officers received formal retraining. The county attorney reached out to 11 individuals, offered apologies and settlements ranging from $5,000 to $75,000, total $240,000. The case was featured in Police Executive Research Forum training materials. International Association of Chiefs of Police published a case study, used in 47 police academies nationwide. South Carolina legislature passed the Law Enforcement Accountability Act. Requires all departments over 50 officers to implement early intervention systems, body camera review protocols, bias training. Nicknamed the Whitmore Act. Marcus Whitmore still serves as county commissioner, re-elected the following November with 68% of the vote, his highest margin ever. Still chairs the Finance and Budget Committee, promoted to vice chair of the full county commission. Still arrives at the county building between 8:30 and 8:45 a.m., still parks in the public lot, still walks the same route. He now serves on the State Law Enforcement Oversight Commission, appointed by the governor. His Constitutional Policing Foundation has trained over 2,000 officers across 40 departments. He's a keynote speaker at national police conferences, consulted by 12 cities on police reform initiatives. He published an op-ed in the Washington Post, "The Day I Was Treated Like a Criminal in My Own Workplace." 2.1 million readers. 2 years post-incident, an independent audit found complaints again. Sent the sheriff's department down 34%. Suspicious person stops of government employees, 0. Demographic disparities in stops reduced by 22%. Community trust survey showed improvement from 38% to 61% confidence. The case is now featured in FBI National Academy training, Police Executive Research Forum case studies, ACLU Know Your Rights presentations, law school constitutional law courses at 23 universities. It revealed something critical. Even accomplished professionals with power and credentials aren't immune to bias-based stops. If it can happen to a county commissioner in front of his workplace, it can happen to anyone. Authority doesn't protect against bias, but knowledge of constitutional rights does, documentation does, body cameras do, personal recording does, willingness to demand accountability does. The Fourth Amendment protects against unreasonable searches and seizures. Reasonable suspicion requires specific, articulable facts about criminal activity, not assumptions based on appearance. Citizens have the right to ask, "What is your reasonable suspicion, and am I free to go?" Body camera footage was indisputable in this case, couldn't be dismissed, reinterpreted, or explained away. Individual accountability matters, but systemic reform is what prevents the next incident. Training, supervision, policy, oversight, data analysis working together. Commissioner Whitmore still walks those marble steps every morning. Same location, same time, same route. But now when officers pass by, they wave. They know who he is. They know what happened. They know that assumptions based on bias have consequences. The body camera that recorded that November morning is now required in every jurisdiction with more than 50 officers, millions of interactions recorded, thousands of careers protected, hundreds of problematic officers exposed. Because evidence doesn't lie. Bias does. If this story opened your eyes to how profiling operates, even within institutions that should know better, share it. Your engagement helps these stories reach people who need to see them. Every view tells the algorithm this matters. Every share reaches someone who's experienced something similar. And if you have experienced something similar, you're not alone. Know your rights, demand accountability, document everything. Commissioner Whitmore said it best in an interview. "That morning on the steps, I had a choice. I could have just shown my ID, said yes, sir, and gone inside. Many people in my position do because it's easier than confronting it. But easier isn't always right. Someone has to say, this is not acceptable. This violates my rights. This needs to change. Because if I, with all my education, all my authority, all my resources, if I don't demand accountability, how can I expect someone with less power to feel like they can? I was elected to serve everyone in this district. And that includes making sure their constitutional rights are protected, even from the people sworn to protect them." Thanks for watching.